If I had to sum up today's entire video in a single word, it would be unhinged. Now listen, far be it from me, of all people, to say that it is not normal to criticize people online. If my channel is any indication, I love when people come together to talk about things. So while I don't think even the most beloved stars are above reproach, I do think you're going to see through this video that there is a line that one has to draw, because if you cross that line, you're going to come across as unhinged. And there's no better word to describe people over at the Taylor Swift snark subreddit, Travis and Taylor. But first, welcome. My name is D'Angelo, and I am your professor of silent musicology, which is a very real degree that I definitely do have. Or maybe this is just me broadcasting myself talking in my room like YouTube used to be. And in today's lecture, we're going to see how not to criticize a billionaire pop star. There's already a ton of discourse online talking about things Taylor Swift does, specifically involving her private jet usage, her billionaire status, etc. And none of that bothers me. I think these are things people should talk about, regardless of how loved her music is. Besides valid criticism, you also have a lot of valid opinions. Maybe you just don't like her music like that. And again, I don't think that's a bad opinion to have. There's a lot of smash pop hits that are not really my favorite songs. That doesn't make them better or worse, just means I don't vibe with them. But beyond your valid criticism, or even just your valid opinions that may not be positive, you have whatever's going on here. So behold, r/TravisAndTaylor. This is a fairly large subreddit with over 100,000 members, in the top 2% of subreddits ranked by size, apparently. And so right off the bat, you're going to notice some weird things. You may already be noticing them. So the subreddit banner is very proudly claiming this is a snark sub. Snark subreddits are subreddits that follow a person or community, and the whole point is for the people there to complain about literally any and everything that person does. I mean, the phenomenon has its own Wikipedia page at this point, and as it points out, this largely focuses on influencers, and notable subreddits include Blog Snark, New York City Influencer Snark, LA Influencer Snark, etc. And as Wikipedia points out, this is sometimes considered to be cyberbullying. And so my stance on snark subreddits is that while I understand why they're created, they so often wind up crossing the line into just pure hater energy. I don't believe that everyone who has ever made or read a post on a snark subreddit did so because they are a bad person or trying to hate the person they're talking about. In fact, I understand the desire to share your opinion in a space where you're not going to get jumped on by stans of the person you're talking about. That's normal. I don't think that's a bad thing. And seeing as the actual Taylor Swift subreddit, not the snark version, has over 3.3 million members, and it's fairly safe to assume that the majority of these members are not coming here to see any criticism of Taylor, I understand carving out a separate niche on Reddit. But the irony is that everybody on this subreddit is like far more obsessed than your average Swift fan could ever be. So let's go ahead and read the subreddit description and see what they're all about. Welcome to r/TravisAndTaylor, aka the snark sub. We are here to roast and criticize Taylor Swift's PR stunts. Looking at you, Travis, her questionable ethics, and the never-ending antics she wants fans to literally buy. So I mean, right off the bat, they're saying Travis is a PR stunt, which if you don't know much about Taylor Swift, they're implying that her boyfriend, who I think she's been with for over a year, he's just there to boost her PR image. And listen, I mean, these people are mega celebrities. Obviously, I think it would be silly to say PR has nothing to do with the way they present themselves. Being liked is their job. So yeah, they're going to curate the way they're presenting their image. But I mean, dear God, it is such a stretch to say that their relationship itself is all just like a weird PR trick. PR relationships can happen, but that's a lot of effort to keep up for a year, y'all. Is it not somewhat easier to believe, hey, maybe these people like each other? I don't know. But no, as you're going to see from the Travis and Taylor subreddit, Taylor Swift is a PR stunt herself, right? That's sort of the vibe here on the subreddit. If you're here to defend Mother, you've come to the wrong place. Let us be clear. Fan behavior will incur bans, and harassment of our members will be reported to Reddit admins. Remember, silence is actually showing restraint. And I mean, it's funny because I think these people would literally believe that this video I'm making right now is me defending Taylor Swift. Like, the only way you could feel the need to chime in and say, hey, some of these posts are weird, is if you are a fan. And that is not correct. And also, just banning anybody who is a fan is so funny to me. Like, getting so mad at one echo chamber that you have to create your own is crazy. But anyway, as you can see, it's not yet been a year since the subreddit was created, and yet it has truly become the definitive snark sub, as they're so proud of. Also, their subreddit icon is what? Okay, hold on. We've got white privilege. I see we're calling her a basic B, which is great. She's generic, basic white girl. Bro, this is weird. I'm sorry. Hot take. White privilege plays a factor into Taylor Swift's success, and yet I believe there are more normal ways of pointing it out than this. But anyways, let's go ahead and just look at the top posts right now. This is what people are talking about on the subreddit as we speak. In fact, I think a fun game might be, let's judge each post by how unhinged it is. So we've got Bad Blood from 1989 has aged embarrassingly bad. So this person calls it a victim anthem over a very childish beef. They said the Kendrick Lamar rap was not good. Taylor and Kendrick should never be on the same song. They thought the music video was gimmicky, and they thought the phrase "Band-Aids don't fix bullet holes" was a bit much in response to, I guess, the beef that the song was apparently about. I think this is actually a pretty good first post, because on its surface, I don't think this is unhinged. Coming to Reddit to post a strongly worded opinion about a song you think is bad is fine. It's your God-given right on the internet. Thinking it's silly or gimmicky is a personal opinion. Anybody should be allowed to have that. That being said, for people who are not Taylor Swift fans, they sure do seem to know a lot about her. It wasn't even about Katy stealing Taylor's backup dancers, but Katy's dancers returning to her when she was ready to begin tour. No idea if true, and I'm not gonna research. But I heard on here, the dancers thing was cover, and the actual issue was Katy dating John Mayer. I feel like my brain just decayed a little typing that out. It probably did. It probably did. That's another thing. You may have noticed in my content, I don't talk about celebrity rumors. I think like celebrity gossip, celebrity news, things that they're actually saying, I don't see a problem with discussing that. And honestly, discussing rumors isn't really bad either. But what's so weird is that on the subreddit, they discuss rumors and then hold them against her as if they're true. That's so likely the real reason. Clock it. I also believe that was the real tea. Blondie was looking for a reason to be upset. Oh my God. How did I never put those together before? Because it's maybe not true. It's possibly false. Listen, the world has never been able to make me care about who Taylor Swift is dating. When I was a kid, the world really wanted me to believe that Taylor Swift was somehow a bad person because she dated people. It was very misogynist looking back. So all this to say, John Mayer, Katy Perry, Taylor Swift, none of this means anything to me. I don't care. What I'm saying is this could very well be true, but this is so weird. There's some story about her running into them at a club at Disneyland, and to cut the tension of being out with someone's ex, Katy sent Taylor a glass of milk, and it was perceived as shade by Taylor. What does... y'all are just saying stuff. It's like this subreddit has exhausted valid reasons of criticizing Taylor, which nobody can say that there's zero, obviously. But because they don't have those, or those have all been done to death, we understand she's a billionaire. You can't ethically become a billionaire. We understand the private jet usage shouldn't be defended, right? Just because you like her music. I think they've moved on from that and into the realm of like any bad thing that anyone has ever said about Taylor Allison Swift is true. And I read it online, must be the case because it seems like something she would do. Really, some of the fans on this subreddit are kind of making Taylor Swift look better in comparison because they're making it seem like anyone who doesn't like her is completely unreasonable and going off of things that are just rumors. See, like, again, you have normal people like this. I didn't mind the song. The video was weird and boring. Also, why does Taylor Swift have dancers? There's no dancing in 90% of her videos. But then you say things like, not her flaunting her PR friends in that overrated music video. So not only is Taylor Swift's partner PR, but also her friends. So me pushing back against this isn't because I think it's not possible that Taylor Swift could ever be disingenuous. I just think this is unhinged. I'm sorry. It's not normal to look at somebody and say your friends are with you because it makes you look better. That happens, but we don't know that. Taylor doesn't know us. So that's a, I guess, somewhat normal post that immediately devolves into unhinged territory. All right, so this next post is about Taylor Swift's voice. Nothing she does will ever measure up to the sheer hilarity of faking a Southern accent for literal years and then just dropping it one day and never addressing it. And, you know, I have never listened to any of Taylor's early music, but it is my understanding she used to be very country and now she's very not, regardless of authenticity. I think this thread is once again an example of people having a lot of deep, swift knowledge for somebody who doesn't like her. She spoke with the accent in her early years. She dropped it after Fearless got big. She would put it on for her singing. It was inconsistent when speaking. I imagine she got tired of faking that. If you want to see her exaggerate, listen to Love Story and Back to December. If she naturally had one, she wouldn't be able to drop it overnight and you would still hear inflections of it. I've heard that Nashville peeps don't have the type of accent she puts on. I understand the fascination. This just seems like a lot of energy. Anyway, moving on to the next post. This one is actually from a mod, by the way. This post is called Taylor and Travis Being Totally Normal. And it's an image of Taylor and Travis being totally normal. On God. Like, well, hold on. What's going on here? She's holding a cup and he's drinking from it. Just looks like a couple being a couple. Oh, but apparently this is abnormal enough to warrant 300 comments. Checking in with my flair. Unhinged cringe. There's a lot of irony in someone reacting to this image this strongly while calling anyone else unhinged cringe. But anyways, this is the picture everyone is going to use when he has 2 receptions for 5 yards and can't run to save his life on Sunday. So what are they implying? This is not a good look for Travis. The optics of jet setting and filming movies, drinking at a game, being boyfriend, and pap walks seem more of a priority than football. Oh, okay. So he shouldn't be allowed to hang out with his girlfriend because his job is football. Understood. I can't believe he's behaving this way during the season. His season is not off to the strongest start and people have been talking about it. This guy cares more about fame than football at this point. Well, he can't play forever. CTE is going to catch up to him. Only a man with severe CTE would date this woman. This is absolutely insane, as CTE is like a brain condition brought on by repeat head injuries. And that is why I find all of this PR discourse extremely off-putting. It's not stemming from wanting to see through publicity stunts or anything like that. It's literally just predicated on the idea that Taylor Swift is incapable of being loved. Like, there is no way anyone would actually ever want to be her friend or boyfriend, if not for some sort of optics. And I'm sorry, that is unhinged. I know even less about football than I do about Taylor Swift's discography. And yet, even if they're completely right, and Travis Kelce's a terrible footballer, he cares more about fame than football, implying that he's only with Taylor Swift because he's brain damaged, and it's PR, is insane. Oh my God, I said this on an Insta post and got slammed. Maybe because this whole train of thought is, dare I say, unhinged cringe. The lack of self-awareness is sending me. She looks wasted, LMAO. And she's making sure he gets there too, by the looks of it. No wonder he's had a bad season so far. Oh, wow. Okay, so now we're just doing the classic thing of like, this man is having any problems at all? Must be the woman. He's a baby. Women are evil. Problem solved. Someone said, I mean, is he though? His numbers are down, but he's still on pace to equal his 2023 stats. And then they say a bunch of football things that don't mean anything to me. But no, he's eating and drinking like a piggy, which, dude, if this was any other subreddit, these comments would be in the negatives. I'm talking like hundreds of downvotes because this is not normal. But no, these people don't even realize this. I hate how much I know about this inane person who I care literally not at all about. But here we are. Bro, you care. You are a Taylor Swift fan. I usually do not support the argument that anybody who dislikes someone is actually secretly a fan. I think popular people just delude themselves into thinking that, oh, you're in my comment section, you're a hater, you're actually my true fans. No, fam, your video sucks. What do you mean? And so the average person who voices the average anti-Taylor Swift opinion, I don't think they are secretly obsessed with her. However, to claim you care literally not at all about her it's inane indeed. Bro, can somebody please get these people some self-awareness? I'm talking 2-day delivery. We need it stat. Taylor Swig. She's an alcoholic. Get it? She's just confirming the drinking problem theory. And here we go again, where it's like, this is a rumor. There's a rumor that Taylor Swift has a drinking problem, and the people here just act like it's true. I do like, at the very least, somebody, I had to scroll so far, said, guys, I think she likes him. How in the world is this an unpopular opinion that is basically buried behind all of this discourse? She's either a better actor, possible, or she's more into him than he is her, also possible. And so again, he can't really love her, right? I still think it's PR. I think it's PR, but I also think they are two dummies who enjoy each other's company. Bro, just let it go. Let it go. It is clearly PR, lol. He looks like his soul has left his body. He's on autopilot, along for the ride at this point. He's in a fugue state. I know that dead-eyed stare. Dissociation. Bro, he's just sitting there. Like, what do you mean? Can we not just sit down and look forward anymore? Can he not pick up a cup and drink anything by himself anymore? She looks sloppy and dead inside. I'm still grieving the Taylor of 5 years past. Wait a second. This is starting to make more sense. A lot of y'all have actually been following her for 5 years, huh? Like, you know all the lore behind her early voice and her early interviews because you were fans probably for longer than you weren't. This is literally like these people have broken up with Taylor Swift, but they're not over her. You know what I mean? That's kind of what this subreddit is giving. I've been saying that for over a year. It's clear to me that she's deeply unhappy and lost. As an ex-Swiftie, as much as I despise her now, I feel very sad for her. Bro, y'all are obsessed. It is actually a big pet peeve of mine when somebody takes someone's niche interest and writes them off as being obsessed. It's fine to care very deeply about something. It's fine to fixate on things, really. But this is not the normal way of interacting with the existence of Taylor Swift, when you just can't miss a chance to be the main attraction, even at someone else's game. And so this is another picture of them. I guess Taylor's the devil for holding on to him. I knew she'd get so bored and just decide to get drunk and hanging on someone, her two favorite pastimes. He's never affectionate back the way she is to him. Wow, wait till these people find out some people have different ways of showing affection. They look so miserable together. We can't even see them. Honestly, this picture is like 4 pixels. Anyway, only at Target, because Daddy says that's where the riffraff wine moms, vipers, and judgmental creeps like to waste what little money they have. F Taylor Swift. What does this post mean? Hold on. Remember, Swifties, I love you. You can see the sincerity on my face, which is in quotes. Now go to Target and whip out your high interest credit card for me. Oh, this is just a reaction to a Taylor Swift book that's come out. Good grief, she's not an artist, she's a product. Cults are weird. Fam, ain't no way you don't realize the irony here. And listen, I think a conversation about the multiple variants Taylor releases just so she can boost her album sales would make a lot more sense than sitting around saying her eyes are halfway closed in this picture, she's an alcoholic. I think there's a conversation to have about how the music industry works right now. I would honestly love discourse about record sales, the vinyl craze. Can we talk about how vinyl prices have risen so much recently? It's gotten to the point where people are now buying them less. Can we talk about how charts, in my opinion, are dramatically overvalued in terms of metrics of an artist's success, which is silly when they are so easy to game in the first place? Like, there are so many conversations to be had about overconsumption and all of this, but instead we're calling her daddy, literally, and implying, I guess, that all of her fan base is riffraff wine moms, vipers, and judgmental creeps. Also, I just realized you called them broke. This person's saying they like to waste what little money they have. Bro, this is crazy. It's like, aren't we supposed to be mad at capitalism because it disenfranchises people? I think being mad at Taylor Swift's capitalism because she's Taylor Swift and you don't like her fans is crazy. Why are we calling them poor? What? Anyway, we've got speculation about some announcement, more photos from them at the game. Think of the paycheck, bro. So expensive. Capitalist Barbie is queen of capitalism. And it's like, again, this could be a conversation, but she's so obsessed with herself. She looks like a flamingo in drag. I hate how her mouth is open, as usual, and the mic placement. She's just proving she can fart in the microphone and no one will be able to tell the difference between that and her singing. Yeah, and if she did that into a microphone, what would you do? Run right over here to the subreddit to talk about it. I made a comment about this type of thing today and was told it's okay. Her fans want to support her because we love her. And the masses went absolutely nuts on me, even got hate messages about how much of a hater I am. Now, assuming this person's comment wasn't unhinged, cringe, this behavior happens. That's what I was saying in the beginning of this video. There are Swifties that make it impossible to talk about her anywhere else without getting undue hate. In my opinion, there is absolutely nothing wrong with expressing discomfort over somebody releasing multiple versions of something, especially when Taylor has a tendency to take certain songs and put them on different vinyl variants to the point where you actually have to purchase multiple versions if you want to hear all of the tracks. You are literally never going to convince me that that is somehow about artistry or anything really other than just figuring out, oh, hey, you like me enough to buy my album twice? Well, do it if you want to hear it. I want a deep dive into this practice I just don't trust anybody on this subreddit enough to give it to me. Taylor Swift isn't the only person who's done this, but she is the poster child for a reason. And she's released over 30 variants of her latest album. But it's so annoying that any discussion of this is mired under, I hate how her mouth is open. On this next post, which is an F Taylor Swift post, we seem to be comparing Taylor Swift to Donald Trump. Self-made, has no deeply held beliefs, but will pretend when it suits them. Their fans will go to war for them. And I mean, dude, come on. Her old nose. That's the top post. Not anybody saying, yeah, well, the thing about Donald Trump is I feel like there's a few other bullet points that Taylor may not share, but both blonde and blue-eyed. I love this so much. Why do you love this? Donald Trump fans are defending a rapist. Okay. I don't think there's a reason to mince words over that. Taylor Swift fans are defending a billionaire who's polluting the environment and contributing to capitalist waste. But this kind of genuinely disturbs me. I think this comparison is bizarre. I don't think you even have to defend Taylor Swift to say that this is really just gross work, nasty work. Anyway, we've got people calling out Swifties, talking about Travis Kelce's ex, I guess. She's looking like a wax figure of herself lately. I like how this is under critique. I'm sorry, it's not critique to talk negatively about someone's face. You haven't actually provided them any sort of feedback. And again, you've got people calling out the capitalism, questioning her backstory. But truly, this is not the place to have any sort of good faith criticism of Taylor, because it's not stemming from the desire to talk about important issues. These people are obsessed. It's to the point where there is now a competing subreddit, r/swiftly neutral. And I guess this attempts to be the middle ground. Both praise and criticism of Taylor are welcome in this sub. And I don't know if this subreddit is actually neutral. Actually, here's an easy way to find out. Here's a picture of her out and about with her boyfriend. I don't hate the cut of the dress, but I think it could have been cuter in a different color and in a different fabric. The two of them also look like they're dressed for different occasions, lol. They always look like they're dressed for different occasions. Oh my God, this is so refreshingly normal. I think sitting around and discussing the fashion choices of like the world's most prominent singer, that strikes me as very normal behavior. And it's kind of funny, they do look like they're dressed for different events. I feel like this one needs a jacket. I feel like her stylist's just not working for her anymore. But if she's comfortable with it, then that's all that matters. Again, I'm not bringing up this subreddit because I think it's a good one. This is literally the only post I've ever looked at. But I bring this all up to say, I really, really hope this doesn't get misconstrued as like, oh, you are jumping up to defend a billionaire capitalist because you like her music. Fam, Taylor Swift's music could disappear from Spotify tomorrow. I would be okay. A lot of y'all would not, and I would pray for you, but I would be okay. Actually, no, a lot of y'all would be fine because you own like 50 copies of her album. But anyways, I say all this to say, I am appalled that this subreddit is so large. I think snark subreddits really need to be evaluated. People need to think about the space they're taking up on the internet. You are never, ever, ever getting back together. You're never gonna convince me like, this is a normal way of criticizing somebody. Be critical, by the way. Be sharply observant. Pay attention to what billionaires are doing and call them out for it. But if you hate the way her mouth is open, I hate to break it to you, you may actually be part of the problem of keeping her far more relevant than you would probably like to see. But anyway, that's my take on the situation. Dave's take is that all of my takes on the situation were wrong, actually. But Dave is a moderator at r/TravisAndTaylor, so he may be biased. And I'm of course excited to hear your take. I mean, this is the part of the video where a layman would ask you to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment, but I will ask you to enroll, evaluate the video, and submit your feedback. Because I am of course running a 100% completely, totally, all the way, okay, maybe not really, somewhat unaccredited university. Probably. Just ask anybody in the student body and we'll confirm it for you. We're totally legit. And as for me, whether you'll see me in 24 hours or 24 months is honestly anyone's guess, but until then, thanks for watching. Your homework for today is to be hinged cringe. I love cringe actually, but not like that.